Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Uh-huh.
Good day. I know it's been several days since I have done a word of the week, but to take a phrase from my girl Sophia, old La Profesora is back now with another exciting word of the week. So while I've been gone, many things have been happening in our country. Certainly we see, of course, political candidates stepping forward in their run for president and vice president. We see COVID-19 is still making its presence known with schools and colleges opening and schools and colleges closing. We see people still engaging in the outcry for justice and the reduction of many other types of disparities. It is a lot to take in. And it's not just the world, it's also our personal lives. To borrow a phrase and make this really personal, to borrow a phrase from my sisters in their 50s, and I like to think of myself now as 53 and free. I'm trying to stay encouraged. I'm trying to, stay lifted, but the truth of the matter is I don't always feel that free. And this is real talk. I know the commiserations of the present time are rooted in real issues, but when I look back at where so many of my ancestors began their generational existence in this country, I can't help but to think that we as a people have come from a long way. And many of my ancestors, those before me, walked and lived in many dark places, places that I've known and pray I will never have to see. And so I live now, and I like to think that in many areas I'm wise. I recognize that I'm also weak in others. And so I'm saying all of this to say that at some point, maybe this will tie into what I want to talk about today in regards to this word of the week. And I'm going to try to keep that promise to you that all of this ties in and it will be made clear. So on to our word of the week. And this word of the week comes from Elder Sister Tanisha Hines Johnson. It is upheld in positive affirmation by the general body of FBCOTR under the leadership of Chief Apostle Brian Smith, currently located in our Cincinnati jurisdiction, but yet leading with a firm and fair hand. Shout out to my FBCOTR family. And I want you to raise your hand from wherever you are and sign the roll in the comments. Our word of the week is a word that I love. One that I have used many times and heard others use many times. It's a strong word, a word often used in fervor and in fury. It is also a word that brings people to verbal and emotional fisticuffs. It's a word people like to use in places and spaces in which they are trying to express truth and righteousness, and sometimes, unfortunately, self-righteousness. This word, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is indignation. Say that with me. Indignation. 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 My, what a word. And I really love the shun word. I love shun words, TION words. Yes. Indignation. Let it come on out. Yes. So, to look at this main part of the word, indignant, We want to start with that and find out what that means. It literally means to be angry or insulted in regards to offense. Webster actually defines indignant as feeling or showing anger because of something unjust or unworthy. And I want you to key in on that. Feeling anger because of something unjust or unworthy. Indignant is the main part of the word. So when you add tion to the word, it takes it from being like this descriptive adjective to a noun. And as a noun, that indicates something that can actually be possessed by a person, a place, or a thing. In this case, we're talking about people. Many people bear indignation. They carry it with them. It actually has the potential to become a part of a person. You know, they have this general, you ever seen people just have a general air of indignation? They're always ready to, to confront or to fight, in places and spaces. Sometimes it doesn't even seem like it's warranted. But indignation is a concept possession. And really it indicates when a person has indignation, carries indignation, which is a little bit different, I think, from being indignant. Indignation indicates something more permanent. And it indicates perhaps it becomes a tangible part of a person's makeup that is not easily moved or changed. A tangible part of a person's makeup that is not easily moved or changed. That's what this anger at perceived unjust actions or unworthiness, unworthy blame is birthed from. Now, I suspect that many, if not all of us, have been indignant in our lives. For example, we bristle when people call us out of our name. We fume when people talk about us regarding who we are and how we act, especially when that talk underscores us as a negative. Nobody wants to be seen as that. We rage when our intellect is insulted, our competence is questioned, our status is shaken, our faith is frowned on, and our flaws are found out. We become indignant at the accusations that are leveled against us that have the potential to not only alter the public perceptions of who we are, but also, if we're completely honest, our perceptions of ourselves. Come on now. The truth is often that what makes us indignant has the stinging potential to do one of two things: to grind us or to grow us. Number one, it can grind us by causing us to settle into indignation, a place of unsettling and sometimes dangerous permanence. So we can settle into something that is unsettling. Isn't that interesting? Have you ever suffered an accusation that caused you to become so indignant that you could not let it go? You continued to speak on it, you acted on it, but even after you went through that initial stage, you still could not let it go. You stored the offense, or so you thought, as a lesson, something you could go back to. You made sure that your displeasure or wrath was shown. And maybe this indignation was born from some cultural or gender-based or racial accusation, or spoke to some other aspect that is a specific part of your identity. You, however, were highly insulted, and you might have even felt assaulted. And that happens. It happens to all of us. However, that lesson that you stored in case maybe you had to deal with that person again or that accusation again, that lesson actually escaped its box, and you kind of have become obsessed with it. It became insidious. It seeped out and started to color your interactions, not with just the original offender or offenders, but everyone who maybe even looked like the offenders, that talked or walked or lived a life, the same neighborhood, the same city, that kind of thing. It wasn't a person, but maybe you just begin to draw this picture that all people that look like this person were actually like this person. And so you open your box of indignation and you were ready. They won't get me again. Well, these people hadn't done anything in the first place. These encounters have actually the potential to harm everyone involved. And for what? Remembering what a person has done is a necessary adaptation for survival. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. However, profilers, applying remembrance like a blanket will smother not just them, it will smother you. The sourness of misplaced and rigid indignation can keep you from connecting with people who can help you and yours learn and connect academically and professionally, who can advance you socially, mentor you personally, and yes, even love you completely. Most egregiously, your own homegrown indignation can keep you from treating others as they should be treated, as you want to be treated. O people of faith and fair play. Moreover, permanent indignation also has the potential to make you become what you despise and plunge you into emotional and mental upheaval. Lord help us. However, indignant feelings don't have to and should not go down like this. For there is another option. Number 2, the indignant feelings can grow us. Dealing with indignant feelings can grow us by causing us to evaluate the context of a situation, determine the validity of the accusation, address the accusation in order to control the manifestation. How about that? It is virtually impossible to walk in this world without someone stirring our anger, causing us to become indignant. However, taking a breath before handing out the beating is advisable. It's hard, but if you can, it can not just teach the offender a valuable lesson, it can allow us to learn something about ourselves. For example, when we are assaulted with insults and accusations, for me, I know the first thing I want to do is hurl these hands. And I know you look at me and say, no, not you. Honey, facts. My temper is hot and fast, and it has taken some time in my life to learn how to control it with finesse. However, what I have found is that actually listening with a deeper kind of hearing and understanding has helped me avoid some dangerous pitfalls. First, I have to get past the wording and consider, am I what they say I am? Have I done what they say I've done? Is there any merit to this perceived defamation of my character? Sometimes the insult is egregious and wrong. Unless you're calling me, for example, one of my self-approved names, don't call me anything that I'm not. If you need clarity of who I am, ask me. I am not your N-word, your B-word, your WAP word, your Oreo or your hoe, not dumb, not a number on a scale. Yes, I'm the head and not the tail. I'm going to teach you while I try to reach you. That's me. However, if within the context of the accusation, the truth comes out, and usually that really does sting, I need to be able to see that I know and that I handle that, lest I become my own indignity. Personal adjustment can sometimes clear us of the responsibility of becoming indignant, because being indignant is a weight. It can also create productive conversation that might or may help to heal not only our personal wounds, but our societal ones as well. For example, if the doctor tells me that I need to lose about 30 pounds because my levels are off, why am I mad at the doctor? Why am I saying, well, I'm not coming back here? Why am I indignant? Is my doctor right? He sure is. What indignity have I suffered? If I have people around me, on my job, civic group, organization, house of worship, who are upholding false doctrine, carrying out abusive practices, why would I become indignant about an accusation that is clearly based in truth? Any indignity that I show is false in that case. I need to consider my own response to the accusation. Am I afraid of being labeled? Why would I even count myself as part of the problem unless I am part of the problem? If I'm not a part of the problem, am I a part of the solution? If I'm not a part of the solution, I'm engaging in a false, self-righteous indignation. Let me tell you how unholy that is. It's fake, phonified indignation, covering wrong in a self-righteous blanket of indignation. For example, that all lives matter blanket, bless it. Did anybody put that blanket on Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice? I'm talking about black people whose killers have not been brought to justice. Boy, people get hot when folks say Black Lives Matter. But you're going to turn around and be indignant with a plethora of non-parallel excuses and do nothing about the problems of injustice towards African Americans in this country? Blanket. Grow. Examine and grow. Evaluate and grow. Adjust and grow. Be better and grow. I need a scripture. Look, we are indignant, often with good reason, many times not, and we struggle with indignation. However, when we break it all down, people of dust and grass, we really can see that we must focus on attentions, behaviors, and beliefs that will keep us on a path to an existence where this struggle will be alleviated. Maybe this won't happen in entirety, but I just believe that we can still do better in this lifetime, on this side of heaven. Most discussion about indignation referenced in the Christian versions of the Bible, and I'm almost positive in other holy writs, lists Creator God as the worthy carrier of indignation. When you think about it, the only one without the stain of sin is, well, God, in all God's forms. Check it out. In Zephaniah 3, verse 8, therefore wait upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Y'all think y'all know something about indignation? Y'all better get it together. We better get it together. Get focused on the right and not that dirty, defensive, false, self-righteous indignation. Keep on talking and you will talk yourself right on down into that dirty fire pit, down in that sunken place. All ye indignant purveyors of assorted persuasions, come on with me. Indignation. Say it. Indignation. INDIGNATION. My Lord, what a word. Let it sink in your spirit, twirl it around, and then sort it out. La Profesora out. Be blessed.
Electronic technology.